Understanding who has the more powerful army between Uganda and Kenya. Uganda and Kenya are not sworn enemies. The two countries have enjoyed very good relationship for the past 2 decades. Also, Uganda and Kenya only flexed their muscles during Arap Moi regime, but apart from that, the two countries have lived in relative peace. This has, however, stalled the debate on who is who and which country is militarily stronger than the other. There are factors at face value, while there are others that are concealed and not even captured by the Global Firepower Index. Today, we are unearthing it all. By the end of this video, you will have determined which of the two East African giants is more militarily powerful than the other. Fasten your seatbelts. As I keep saying, the Global Firepower Index captures this, but it's never definitive. During our intense findings, we are sure that the countries have way beyond the numbers that are captured. Going beyond military equipment totals and perceived fighting strength, it is the actual power that drives a given military. Kenya ranks 12th on the list of Africa's most powerful countries with an index reading 1.5252, slightly ahead of the following East Africans, Uganda and Tanzania, despite the neighboring countries' bigger personnel count. For 2022, Kenya is ranked number 81 out of 142 countries considered for the annual GFP review. It holds a PWR index score of 1.5252. This entry was updated on January 14, 2022. While Uganda is ranked 92 out of 142 countries considered for the annual GFP review, it holds an index score of 2.2436, falling 11 places behind Kenya. Global Firepower, an agency that assesses the military strength of nations, ranks Kenya as the most powerful nation in East Africa based on its manpower range of weaponry, logistical flexibility and budgets. But is this what it is? We shall find out. Kenya has 24,150 military personnel, slightly more than half of Uganda's 45,000. However, according to other sources, Kenya has close to 200,000 soldiers while Uganda has about 500,000, without considering reserve force, and is among countries with the highest head count of military men, along with Egypt, Morocco, and few others. Weaponry. According to the Global Firepower, Kenya has an arms stockpile of 109 battle tanks, 959 armored fighting vehicles, 30 self-propelled guns, 50 towed artillery, 151 aircraft, 17 fighter jets, and 87 and 2 attack helicopters, respectively. Stock comprises 237 tanks, 107 aircraft, 1,056 armored fighting vehicles, 6 self-propelled artillery, 35 towed artillery, and 26 multiple rocket projectors, nearly twice Kenya's catch. The two countries move toe-to-toe when it comes to weaponry, but there is definitely one that comes above the other, and the answer lies right in front of you. Military spending. Kenya, which is the region's largest economy, has over the years led its East African neighbors in military spending north of $1 billion on their defense, and Uganda is also not so far behind in the pecking order. Kenya's defense bill last year grew 10.5% from $933 million to $1.186 billion, shooting above those other East African countries. Uganda is expected to spend more than $985 billion in 2021 and 2022. Despite the progress in ensuring that the East African countries continue to strengthen their militaries, none of the member states has an aircraft carrier. Analysts reckon that possession of an aircraft carrier is the hallmark of the country's military superiority. Neither Uganda nor Kenya owns one, despite the latter's being the next to the sea. The carriers allow armies to navigate international waters, reaching all corners and serving as mobile naval and air force bases. Military experience. Uganda is one of the most feared military countries in East Africa, besides the challenge of being a landlocked country. Uganda's military broke into the scene when 40 soldiers with 27 guns captured the power from a government that had all the resources, giving birth to the UPDF as Museveni took over power in 1986. To date, guerrilla warfare technique still baffles whites. The Uganda Defense Force defeated some of the notorious rebel groups in Uganda, including the Lord's Resistance Army under the stewardship of Joseph Kony, defeated into the forest of Congo, ADF fleeing into Congo, Lakwena, and others. It is reported that UPDF is one of the most highly trained military forces in Africa and is trained by the North Korea, the USA and Russia. It is divided into 5 military branches, namely Land Forces, Air Forces, Marine Forces, Special Forces Command and Reserve Forces. Despite the countries being landlocked, the country still has a sizable number of Marines that operate on Lake Victoria. The UPDF's inventory of military equipment is mostly Russian, Soviet-era equipment with a limited mix of more modern Russian and Western origin arms from China, Italy, South Africa and Poland. Since 2010, the leading suppliers of the arms to the UPDF have been Russia and Ukraine, with some of the weaponry from the USA. The National Army of the Republic of Kenya is called Kenya Defense Forces (KDF), and as of 2022, Kenya has not been so much involved in very outstanding missions across borders besides fighting internal insurgencies of terrorists. Since then, Kenya has deployed troop contingents to, among others, the UN Transition Assistance Group in Namibia, the UN Protection Force in Croatia, and the 2 UN missions in Liberia, the UN mission in Sierra Leone, and the UN Interim Force in Lebanon. And as clearly stated, Kenya has constantly been fighting alongside another force but not independently. The KDF's inventory of military equipment includes mostly Soviet-era and the colder Western and some South African equipment. Kenya imports some of the equipment from USA, Russia, Turkey and other countries, adding it to their old arsenal. Considering the above factors, the battle between Uganda and Kenya is one you can settle easily, but it takes an insight and acceptance that the other is superior. However, according to the above findings, each country has its strong points and weak links.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button such that you can be reminded whenever we put a new video.
The objective of this training is to get the Battle Group 22 ready for deployment. Everything from weapons qualification to command staff operations to mortar firing and expertise to tank operations. We have several medics here teaching them CLS, care under fire, and some more advanced medical training.
We've talked to the Ugandan People's Defense Force medics and trained them last week in tactical combat casualty care, so that we've trained the trainers, if you will. And then this week is a combat life-saving course where we will go over basic combat life-saving skills with their line members, so infantry, platoon members, etc., teaching them basic medical skills to assist their medics in the event of mass casualties or in the event of significant trauma on the battlefield. This training is important because 90% of combat deaths occur before soldiers get to a hospital, and it's often the first line responder that saves that soldier's life. Depending on the studies you read, up to 25% of deaths on the battlefield are preventable and attributable to 3 main causes: hemorrhage, tension pneumothorax, and airway obstruction. So we're teaching them skills to place tourniquets, put chest seals on and needle decompress the chest and put alternate airways in to hopefully save those lives that we can, so we can get them to a field hospital and get them to the surgery they need.
With this group, we're going to be doing a lot of patrolling and security movements and counter IED awareness. So just as they're walking through and doing their patrols and convoys, they're able to spot signs of IEDs. This EOD portion will help keep them alive. It's a big threat, and so they'll be able to spot signs and hopefully keep them and their fellow soldiers alive.
Specifically, I'm here to supervise civil military operations cells within the battalion and battle group staffs. Currently, I have a CMOC that's running that's collecting information from civil affairs teams on the ground so that they have integrated information flow and real-life training.
So now things are better than before. That's why I can say now we appreciate what the US government is doing by teaching us, by teaching our soldiers, skills which we've not known before.
I'd say overall it's been a good training iteration. The training that UPDF is receiving is 100 to 1,000 times better than what they started out with. UPDF and AMISOM have been partners with us.
So with my 3rd trip here to Isiolo, Kenya with the Kenyan Defense Artillery Forces, it's been really, really good for the Mass National Guard State Partnership and the 101st Field Artillery. We were asked a couple years ago to come on board and to start helping them train with our new weapon system. the way they were doing things and they go about it, they get the same answer that we do in a different method. In realizing that you can work in parallel and get to the same core data that you're looking for in order to do our jobs correctly is absolutely incredible. They do it a totally different way, get the same answer, and we know it's right. Not many folks can say that you come into a training environment and go to a different country. Who says they can go to Africa and work with another artillery battalion?
Working with the US soldiers, it was very good. It was a nice experience. My second time training with them. I've also operated with them, so getting a chance to train with them, to learn from their experiences, to learn from their expertise, it was a good experience. If an opportunity crops up, I'm very ready to participate for training with the US forces, and I'm hoping it happens.